Hi, good morning, Daniel. I want to take you on a tour of your attic, so let's get right into it. And the first thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is the attic hatch, as we were discussing. This is one that's in a closet similar to yours, and you can see from a thermal image how it's definitely going to be a source of heat and problems in the summer. And you can see how we treat the hatch. We take the rigid foam board that has a good R value and we stack several pieces together, and then we marry those pieces together to get a higher R value. And then the key here is the panel that is existing in the closet, we use that to attach to the insulation, and that way it stays in place. And then the final step is to put some weather stripping, that sort of spongy foam, so that when it sits in the hole there, the weight of the insulation and the sponginess kind of creates a seal. And that way you're just going to get less air communication, of course, heat loss and heat gain through that access point. So today we're going to sort of go on a tour here, and I just want to highlight a few things along the way. And I think the tour is going to be good to just put your mind at ease on a few things. So the first thing, these are the two ducts that go to the outside, and you can see from the outside. And I want to take a moment here and just kind of point out the construction style of the house and how everything just seems sort of flat and flush, and you don't have a whole lot of places up there for critters to get in. Now, this is a house with an overhang, and you don't even have the burden of having to worry about a soffit overhang to keep critters out. So your chances of having critters is very low. Real quick, let's jump to the insulation level so that as we do walk around, you kind of get a feel for what it's supposed to look like. And here's an attic that we just recently did. You can just see the level of insulation, how high it is. You can't really see any of the rafters. You can't really, if you don't know what you're doing, you wouldn't know where to walk, basically. All right, so moving along here, and as I said, I just wanted you to get a look at the insulation around the attic. And I have a theory on maybe why there is some sign of maybe something living up there at one time, and I'll get to that towards the end. But now let's talk about that chimney above your bedroom, or actually running sort of through your bedroom. And you can see here, as I sort of described to you, that when we pull the flashing, the metal flashing that was put in place up, which is not sealed, you can just see right down into that cavity. So this is sort of a theme in your house, and it's really a good opportunity. So it's like, on one hand, it's costing you and it's creating challenges, but on the other, it's great because it's not that hard to fix. All right, so here's just going to be sort of a good sort of sort of walk through. We're going to do like a 360 tour here, as I said, and just kind of around the corner here. I think this is more moving towards the front of the house, and you can just see where the insulation is all level. It's not been disrupted. It doesn't even look dirty. I mean, it is gray in color, but that's how it was when it was put in. And you may notice, and you can rewind a few times, there are a few places where it looks like maybe something was burrowing in the insulation. But again, I have a small theory on that, and we'll take a look at that soon. Now, one of the things that caught my eye that also I'd mentioned to you, Daniel, is that I saw a piece of cardboard sort of sticking up, and, that's above and adjacent to the loft, I guess, office slash baby's room or nursery. And this is just one of those HVAC chases, and this just gives you a real good bird's eye view of yours. And this is not uncommon, as I had mentioned to you a couple times. And I just wanted to really give you a good look, so I sort of cracked this all open for you, and you can see right down into the cavity. And this is just going to cause problems again with infiltration of heat, humidity, and exfiltration of your heat in the winter. And then you can see that's an example of a similar type of house with a similar type of thing, and how we actually treated it. We block it, and then we seal it all off. And the sealing is going to be kind of a theme here. I'm going to show you a few more things that we're going to do, because the key here is we want to create a plane. We want to create a air barrier all the way across the attic floor, and it kind of takes different forms. So in that case, we had to block the large opening and seal around it. And then for some of these smaller areas, for example, this plumbing penetration that you see here, and some of the tops of walls and things like that, we have a similar technique, but we don't have to use the blocking part. We just seal. So you can kind of see what Yvonne is doing here. He's got the spray foam, the one part spray foam, and we're just going around and we're strategically hitting all of the spots. We're sealing up all the holes and places that air can, again, exfiltrate in the winter and infiltrate in the summer. All right, so just to kind of move along here, I wanted to get over to the area above the two bathrooms. A few things going on over here. And the bathroom fans work great, they look great, but there's one step missing, and that's the air sealing part. So we like to, use the same technique because that's a penetration through the drywall, which is going to create a place for air to go. So you can see what that looks like. And there's another plumbing penetration naturally near the bathroom that we would want to seal. And then there's also the 3 recessed lights, and I just wanted to kind of point out quickly how we would air seal those. But before I do, yes, this is my theory on the problem with maybe some pests infiltrating in the past. And here we go with the recessed lights. I'm sorry, I'm just a little out of order here at the end. But I'll finish my thought, and you can just see how we would make a box to cover that light, and then we would seal around it so that no air can pass through. And then finally, just my last thought, I believe that at one time, prior to the maybe you all moving in and when those bath fans were put in, because those are fairly recent, I think that probably what happened along the way is that the existing or the pre-existing bath fans prior to your new ones, the ducts were probably disconnected at the place I showed you outside, or somehow birds were getting it. And I think that that probably was the reason why at one time maybe there's some signs of animal infestation. But again, it didn't look bad to me, and it might have just been a few birds, but I don't think that problem exists now. So hopefully this is helpful, and thanks for watching, and I'll be in touch with all of your reporting soon.